As you can see, I'm outside the embassy in the Republic of Malta of the Sovereign Military Hospitaller Order of St. John of Jerusalem, of Rhodes and of Malta. And as I move it up here, there's a flag there, and it's got another plaque there with more information. And then down here, as you can see, it says this is one of the two towers built in the 16th century to defend both sides of the main entrance to Valletta. And then it says it was used by the British military forces in the 19th century, and since 1967 it hosts the embassy of the Order of St. John in Malta. And they've also got two buildings, at least two in Rome. They haven't got a country, but they do have their own passports and things like that. Don't know a great deal, but to go down the conspiracy route, they are supposedly one branch of a higher power structure, so they're not meant to be at the top, so to speak, but they are further down the hierarchy. But with that aside, sometimes when I touch these older buildings I get a sense of different things, different feelings, maybe some visuals as well. And before, when I touched this building, I got a sense of this very masculine energy, of this pushing out energy, so not going within, not reflection or introspection, but very much my energy was going out. And it would make sense that if the Order of St. John, the Knights Hospitallers, of course, used this building to defend against the Ottomans, the Turks, hundreds of years ago, then it would make sense that this was a time when there was a lot of energy, a lot of penetration, because it was about conquering or attacking and defense. It was not about going within. It was, of course, not a church, not a monastery, where there was lots of monks or nuns, for example, engaging in inner activities. That's not to say the knights were not ever ones to do that, but a lot of the time they would have been in defense mode, so pushing out, so expansion, not retraction. And that was the sense, that was the energy that I got when I touched this building before. And perhaps that's something you can relate to if you've ever touched buildings of this nature. You've had a similar experience. And when I was in, or near to St. Angelo's Fort, and this was in Gira, I think it is, probably pronounced it wrong, I went up to where Jean Valletta had to defend one of the parts of the fort against the Ottomans in the Great Siege. And this was apparently where he was attacked, or injured should I say, and they eventually defeated the Ottomans. But after that I got a sense of exhaustion and the sense of not wanting to go through that again. So perhaps that was another example of me tuning into. Let's just go back here so you can get a better sense of the size of this tower. So perhaps that was a sense of how it was for Jean Valletta. He must have been maybe in his 60s, so getting on, and this was someone who was made Grand Master of the Order. And before then, apparently, what I read online before I came was that he was captured by one of the pirates, so he was imprisoned for a while, and he was from a noble family, as all these knights had to be, and so he must have fought in many battles, and he was also in Rhodes as well before they came here. Before the Knights Hospitallers came here, they were in Rhodes, and he was there as well, so he must have fought in that battle as well when they were kicked out by the Turks, the Ottomans, and then he ended up here. So this was someone who had been through a lot, and apparently he was also imprisoned by the order in the beginning for doing something, so he must have been tough to escape from the pirates as well. And he is said at the Order of St John Museum in Clerkenwell in London, on the bust it said, for the description of the bust, it said that he had a steely determination, and this was shown by his expression. If he orchestrated the defeat of the Ottomans. And where I am now in Malta, Valletta was named after him, after he orchestrated the defeat of the Ottomans, so he must have been a pretty tough cookie. And his ancestors now live in the same place where he was from, France. And it's Jean La Valletta. I think they miss out the de, because on the documents, I think that's the part they miss out, because on the documents that he signed his name, he misses one of the parts out. But his family have said, because there was a statue unveiled of him here a number of years ago, and his family, his ancestors, have said that this part shouldn't be missed out, but on all the documents here they don't use it, so it would make sense that the name they've used for the statue would also miss that out. So there you can see the flag, the Maltese cross. And that is a building. But lastly, there's another one of these on the other side, and that's called a Cavalier. So I'm not sure why that's called a tower. But as you can see, it's massive. It's almost like a pyramid without the top part. Unfortunately, as it's the embassy, I can't get in there. I'd love to have a good look around to see what's going on. But their HQ is now at the top floor of St Angelo in Burgoo, because apparently they've got, many years ago they signed a 99-year lease. So the order was basically kicked out of Malta at the end of the 18th century. I think it was 1798 when Napoleon came and on his way to Egypt, and then after about 2 years the British ended up taking over, and then after all that time they've come back and they've got their HQ. But as I said, they haven't got a country now. They do issue their own passports, and they have this embassy here and the buildings in Rome.